So, welcome to this very important session in our Event Sustainability Conclave. This session is all about achieving operational excellence in events. Our esteemed panelists will share valuable insights on optimizing event operations, enhancing efficiency, ensuring seamless execution, and while maintaining responsible events and highest standard of operations. Today, we have some esteemed dignitaries from the field of exhibitions. We have with me Mr. Satendra Mehra, who is the Group Director and Member of Management Board of Noonberg Messe, India. We have with us Ms. Vibha Bhatia, who is the President of Active Skytech Communications. And we have with us Ms. Ravina Devnani, who is the founder of Ravishing Exhibitions and Events. She is based in Dubai. So thank you, first of all, to all our esteemed speakers for sharing their valuable insights and sparing their time for us for this very important session today. Mr. Satyendra, we all know about him that he is a very distinguished professional in our industry and globally he is well known for setting new benchmarks in terms of operations and also in terms of strategizing and planning and then executing those events to perfection. Then we have Vibha. Vibha has been again a key player in the exhibition scene in India, and she has been executing turnkey events, large events, government events as well, and she has been planning and executing events flawlessly. And then we have Ravina. Ravina comes from a stand fabricator's perspective because, from your perspective as a service provider, we would like to hear more about how you guys feel about sustainable initiatives on site and what is the kind of take that you have on this development. So, thank you again for joining in. I'll start my session with coming to Mr. Satyendra Mehra. Satyendra ji, you have a long experience in the exhibition industry. How have you seen the flow of planning, the flow of execution change over a period of time? And since the time we've been speaking of sustainability in particular.
Hi, Raghav. Thank you. And thanks to my co-panelists, Ravina and Viva. Raghav, it's an evolving process. I think we have come a very long way. As far as sustainability concerned, I would like to highlight one thing, very important thing here. India has been practicing sustainability, I think, since ancient time. It's from the previous years. India has always had, this thing in place where sustainability is concerned. Like if you have to go back to our childhood, we all can recollect whatever, whether it was household work or anything else, we used to reuse things. Was passed on from one generation to another. So we have been used to from that perspective. And I think similarly also in exhibitions at that time, when there was no focus on health and safety, or in terms of planning, because people were not exposed to the outside world, still we managed to do big events. To I think to name one of the biggest event which India does is Mahakumbh Mela, just to give it an example. Now it has been happening for a long time, and if you see the kind of planning it goes into, is commendable. And at that time there was no SOPs, there was no the international parameters or standards which were there, but the execution was flawless, everything was fine. So I think we have come a long way. But yes, since the time the globalization has taken place, we have evolved, we have adapted to best practices, and most importantly taking into consideration what suits for us in India. Well, India is unique, so we cannot just control C and control V. Like we can't just copy what is happening, but what is applicable to us and what we need to do, we are doing it, and it's a step-by-step process. And I've been into this industry for more than 23 years right now, and there has been a significant improvement, I would say, which has been there. So overall, if you ask me, I think we are getting there. It's just a matter of time. I believe we will be again in the forefront and would be leading this initiative for that matter.
You made a very significant point that we can't simply control C and control V. Coming to Vibha, you have also seen how the other countries work and do their events, and you have organized events flawlessly in India. So Vibha, how do you see this going forward? What can we do in this regard, and what are your thoughts on this important initiative of sustainability?
Yeah, thank you, Raghav, first of all, for giving me opportunity to speak on this important topic. And, like I totally agree with what Satyendra said. And I just would like to add to that, that sustainability is no longer a buzzword or a trend. And sustainability is no longer optional or a feel-good strategy or a feel-good
Right.
factor. right? It is the future of business, and it is a necessity that defines the resilience and relevance of industries, including exhibit. And by inculcating sustainability into the DNA of our events, we not only proof our businesses but also align with the growing demands of conscious consumer and stakeholders. And to answer your question, first of all, I would like to just share some exciting news with all of you about the incredible strides that we have made towards sustainability at Bengaluru Tech Summit. This is our one of our like flagship events. And our event is not just about technology and innovation. It is also about leading the way for greener future. In fact, I'm happy to announce that we are moving towards a zero carbon footprint, an initiative that we are very proud of. In 2023, BTS became the first event in India to go completely green, with sustainability embedded in every aspect of the summit, like from eco-friendly stationery, including digital badges, lanyards, or maybe completely eliminating plastic bottles. We also made sure that sustainable material used in our branding, decoration, stalls, and more. Even the power generation was aligned with the green practices, utilizing energy efficient generators to minimize environment impact. And thanks to these efforts, I'm able to share some significant numbers with you. So we made 95% reduction in direct plastic consumption compared to the previous year of BTS, and we achieved zero waste to landfill, which is a massive step forward. And we successfully generated 90 kgs of biogas from food waste. And we also mapped our complete carbon footprint, setting the foundation for further improvements in the years ahead. And for this year BTS, we had better numbers than last time. And I think we can rightfully claim that BTS is now India's first sustainable and responsible summit of this scale. So this year, 98% of waste was diverted for recycling thanks to 100% source segregation. And once again, we achieved zero waste to landfill. And 24% of our visitors utilized the free electricity shuttle services provided by BMTC, connecting key location like across the city. And this initiative led to 9% of reduction in carbon emission. And with all other sustainability efforts combined and put together, we achieved an impressive 10% year on year reduction in carbon emission. And we also promoted conscious behavior among our 700 exhibitors that we had. And as a result, we had three of the best stalls that were awarded the Sustainability Stall Award based on the comprehensive evaluation by our sustainability partner. So awareness of environmental footprints was raised through live dashboards, thought-provoking ideas and videos, and interactive demonstration focused on forest conservation and biodiversity. And through all these efforts, I think we were able to address at least eight sustainable development goals, creating significant impact to our event. And as we move forward, Bangalore, we call it as Garden City, is on its way to becoming India's sustainable city. And what went green this year was truly a giant leap forward. And our efforts are not just reflected in the qualitative changes, but also in the impressive quantitative results that we have achieved in last few years.
This is very impressive, Vibha. And did you get some consultant on board who gave you all these statistics and gave you all these directions how to go about this?
Yes, we worked with some consultants in Bangalore, and they then, collaborated with us, and we were able to achieve all these numbers.
So these numbers are really exciting. I think when we speak to international players, then even they can't give such impressive figures like just the way you have given it to us. Tell us, how does it really helps you to reach out to your partners, your sponsors? Does it affect them? Do they feel encouraged by these statistics, or have they given you this mandate that you have to be use sustainable practices? Because it all boils down to profits, and I believe that if you are doing so much work, then it is maybe encouraging your sponsors also.
We are trying to do our bit, but the problem is about the acceptance. Like I initially said, it's not a buzzword, it's not a trend, but we are just trying to educate people that this is a necessity. And in that particular process, we, like I said, in 700 exhibitors that we had, so only three were there who could do the sustainable stall branding, and they use the circular, what do you call it, the recycled branding and recycled stalls that you can use. So only three were able to use that. So that is the reason we, incorporated those sustainability awards into the BTS, so that more and more people can come forward next year and, work towards the, this particular direction.
Thank you. So, Ravina, you have been an influential player in Middle East region, and you have contributed significantly when it comes to stall designing, stall fabrication services. And your stall fabrication services, I think, play a pivotal role in the event exhibition industry because you are the main touch points for the corporate clients who are then the end users of events and exhibitions. So, please tell us what are your thoughts on sustainability and what is your perspective about this issue and how you are dealing with it.
When it comes from our point of view, the way we think as in Ravishing, as in group of companies, we think sustainability, as Vibha said, is no more a choice of. It's not something that there's a choice for the clients to obtain that. What we decided, not giving them a choice, not pressurizing them, we changed the procedure of the way we use our own things. So we started from reusing of the glass, the going from the plastic plants to the green plants so that we can reuse the plants. We bring the plants back over here in the office. We reuse the counters. We reuse lots of furniture, whether it's customized or not customized for different variety of the clients. It's a matter of us putting in the design. He doesn't know whether it's a reused furniture or it's a reused TV or it's a reused fridge or it whatever it is. So externally, we wanted it to implement on a very big level, but the acceptance from the clients was not very high over here. I think slowly, what's happening in the UAE after COP28, people have moved towards more sustainability because COP28 set up an example for all of us that yes, there are a lot of sustainable items or the wood materials or even the paints or even the elements that you use in the exhibition that can be towards the better earth and the better planet for us. I think that opened the eyes and that has given a push, but not on a very big scale. We are one of the very first companies in Dubai who's got the full B matrix coming from US over here, so that we can have the small stalls using B matrix, not using the wood over here. And the another biggest problem that I'm facing over here is how can I tell a client that this counter was already used by somebody else and the same design was used by somebody else. So using those and making sure that the client are understanding what we are trying to tell them, not only the saving on the money part of it but also saving for the ecosystem is very important. I'm not saying Dubai is not aggressively going towards it. UAE, Saudi, both are going towards it. But I think it's the awareness of the people and acceptance from the client is one of the biggest issue that I'm facing. We are trying our level best, whatever we can do internally. But I think there will be one day when there will be no choice given to them for designing such mega stands with so much of elements and so much of gogas, and then maybe they will accept it. But in the current scenario, it is a struggle point for all of us over here.
So
Whatever
currently,
we
if
are
we talk about like how
doing,
many stalls do you build in a year? How many stalls on an average?
approximately, if you talk about worldwide, more than 800.
More than 800 is a big number. So out
Yes.
of this 800, what percentage do you feel of sustainability do you incorporate like vis-a-vis
If you
traditional
ask
method?
me, if you ask me year by year wise, 2021, I would say 20% of the things we were able to, 20% on the stands things were used. If you go on 22, we were on the similar percentage. 23 was 35 percentage. This year, when we are in December already, I would say 48% is already achieved by the reuse of the same counters, same furnitures, and a list of things and the list of elements that we have used. And it's completely internally. It's not something which government is telling us or not something which government is trying to initiate it as much as we can. organizers are doing it, venues are doing it, but the clients is a difficult part for us.
Hmm. Fair enough. So, well, I'll now move to Mr. Satyendra. Satyendra ji, you have been in the exhibition industry since a long time now, and you have executed a lot of events. And Nürnberg Messe is, a well-known organizer and a venue worldwide. So, please tell us what are some of the best practices that you guys implement on site? How do you achieve such levels of excellence in your operations on site?
Raghav, I would say, in terms of best practices, it's very simple. First thing I would say commitment. Second would be conviction, and third would be communication. So we work with three C's, because first, whenever you want to bring a change or create a change, you need to have a buying in from the customer. And for us, there are various levels of customers here. So even our service provider is a customer to us, to be very frank with you. And venues, for that matter, our exhibitors, our visitors. So I think the basic thing what we do is to reach out to them and share with them why are we doing it and what is the intent about it. They should not perceive like what we are doing is like an obstruction for them, or we are trying to create challenges. So at that level we go, explain them what benefit all this changes will bring it to their table. And not only from short term perspective, one has to look from a long term perspective. I think many people look at sustainability from a different angle. They think it's adding to their cost. So first thing what we are trying to explain them, see, it's not a cost. First, you need to change your thought process. You need to look at it from an investment perspective. And again, don't try to evaluate in terms of say next 1, 2, 3 years. You have to look at minimum 5 years to maximum 10 years. That's where you the results start coming in. So and we have two kind of approaches. One is upside down and downside up. And at the same time, we also create a new very different approach, which was inside out and outside in. What I mean to say, from what we kind of see from inside to the world and what the other world is looking at us, for that matter. So we did lots of discussions, with various stakeholders, try to understand, what they believe and what, they are expecting. So we try to bridge the gap by communicating. And each and every level, the communication has to be different. Say, for example, if we are talking to a venue, we cannot talk the same language as we discuss with our exhibitors or visitors, or for that matter, our service providers. So communication has to be very, very different. And many times we even have to go to that extent, talking to them in their regional language or a local language for make them understand effectively. So I think the definition of sustainability, for at various levels are very, very different. It cannot be same across. And to start with, in terms of best practices also, or if you say best practices, health and safety, and even inculcating the behavior, I think first thing is this initiative cannot be driven without passion. Because passion has to be there. It's not like, मैंने एक box tick कर दिया and works gets done. It will not. It will happen only for a short period of time. But if we do it, possibly they go to any other exhibition, they may not do it because they're not mandating that things to do. So what we want, it has to be consistent. If they're doing it in our event, they need to do it in others' events also. So it should become like a discipline, like a regular, any other thing, what they do, then only the success parameters would come. And at the same time, because I represent the Indian Exhibition Industry Association, I'm part of the sustainability committee there also. So what we are trying to do, bringing all the stakeholders, under one platform, and even discussing, how we can try to kind of drive much more better change, for that matter. Because as of today, as Ravina said, it's a bit of a struggle at different parameters and different levels. So how we kind of convince them and have a buying in on them and to support this initiative is very, very important. So we do not kind of mandate people. I think that's one thing we are not doing at the moment. So we have our guidelines, but at the same time, we put across, agar aap ye nahi karoge, you will not be able to upgrade yourself. You will not have a better life, going ahead. But again, in a very strategic format, you can't be very, you are crude putting forward this communication. We are very, very mindful for that matter. So simple example, just to give it to you. So we had one service provider, which is quite underrated, called housekeeping. Like we all know about it. And it's very unorganized at the moment. So like when we were having discussions, finalizing our contract, we have various parameters. So the company was quite apprehensive in signing the contract. He said, "Oh no, my cost will go up. My people won't do it because they won't be able to work." So, but I think we explained them why are we trying to do that. We gave them that education. We went to their workers and spoke to them and said that, okay, why? It is for their better living, it's for their better health. These people are never were covered under insurance for that matter. So I said, okay, if that's the case, we will incur that cost, but you need to do that. So I think they also realized it, what we are trying to do and like what kind of efforts we are looking at is for their benefit. And now, as a slowly and steadily, the results are coming. Now, if you see the way earlier the housekeeping or the security agency used to be in our shows and how it is, it's a big difference. So that's what our approach has been. So
Okay.
bringing
And
all the
how?
stakeholders on a common platform.
Right. Very nice. And how are you trying to control the waste in your shows?
See, again, it's not only us, it's a collective effort. So in India at the moment, I think the waste control primarily is the responsibility of the exhibition venues. So what we do, we speak to them, we speak to the housekeeping company, we even try to kind of educate the exhibitors, to try and minimize the waste as much as possible. See, you cannot eliminate everything immediately. So it's a gradual process. So as I said, at various stakeholders with various communication, we discussed on that. And I think just Viva correctly highlighted, they managed to recycle the waste almost to 98%, which is definitely a very, I would say, a commendable percentage and a number for that matter. So I think similarly, like we also do that. Like I think that the initiative, like even if you keeping dustbins which is wet garbage and dry garbage, people they don't see, they just dump waste the way it is. So I think that basic discipline, like this reminds me, we if you go all back to our school days, we had some subject called community living. So I think we need to bring that community living topic back again to educate people, to make them understand, because this is basics. But yes, right now it's an effort. We are putting lots of time, lots of manpower to segregate waste also. And more importantly, back in India, I think apart from couple of venues, they do not even have dedicated garbage pits or a waste collection system. So we are pushing venues to kind of create that kind of infrastructure or a support system. If they can't do it permanently, but some temporary thing where we can address such kind of challenges what we are facing. And again, if they are not doing that, we are putting money. And fortunately, there are certain companies who support us driving this initiative. So we call them and then they do it on our behalf. So that's how we are handling and managing this.
Mhm. So when you plan your events, I mean, there are stages to it. Like you first plan it, then you plan the operations, and there are phases to planning, then the on-site operations, and then post-event operations. How would you like to sum up or summarize the measures towards or discussion towards sustainability? Is there a priority towards it when in your discussions at the planning stage?
Of course. And see, the sustainability initiative or sustainability discussion started only 2 to 3 years back. Before that, there was nothing which was there, especially in India for that matter. So, and as I said, as in our DNA, sustainability has always been there. When we started, we always used to focus on reuse things, use things which are good for the environment and even in terms of health and safety. So I would say even before planning, we start inculcating this. Say, right now we are in midst of our exhibition. So when we are going to try and sell the exhibition for the next edition, we tried educating our exhibitors, right now through our sales team. And at the same time, our operations team, they try and start educating the service providers who are working for something which is not that we, we bring them, we say, okay, this is how this needs to be done, because then it's a live example for them. And fortunately, we have a organization which is supporting us in terms of training, the service providers, especially on this initiative. So they are on site. So, so we are do small modules to showcase that, because when you see it, you believe it. So that's what our approach is.
So you have a third party on site at your shows to guide and maybe as a consultant to your sustainability initiatives.
Yes, and as I said, see, because as I said, we need all the stakeholders to come in, and definitely we need experts, to kind of support us and guide us. Okay, what can be done. And as I said, you cannot do everything sustainability. So what we do, we pick up only 5 parameters And in terms of priority, we try focusing on them. So that's our approach. It's a step-by-step process. So if you, I like to be very frank, if I say कि नहीं कि पूरे event में एक ही like इसमें कर दूं, that's practically impossible.
Not possible.
That cannot be done. So we take 5 top parameters, address them. Once we are convinced कि okay, we have addressed this, then we go to next 5,
Right.
or possibly even 2 or 3 for that matter. So it all depends on the situation and what kind of success rate we are able to achieve.
Absolutely. I think this is a very good and structured approach. And slowly and steadily, I think a time will come when most of our activities will become sustainable. Vibha, you are also into venue management. So, from a venue perspective, as Mr. Satyendra highlighted, that there are many responsibilities that are in a venue's perspective. So, what do you take into account when you are possibly going for different events and exhibitions? So, how as a venue do you act on these terms of maybe responsible events?
So Raghav, see, expectations from venues and partners are becoming much higher. So as an organizer, see, organizer now expect venues to have solid sustainability practices in place, and such as waste management, like Satyendra was talking about, energy efficient infrastructure, clear commitment to reducing their environmental impact, and venues should ideally be equipped with sustainable event resources like LED lighting, renewable energy resources, and waste segregation facilities. So basically, these are the expectations organizers have with the venue. Since we also have a venue, if you allow me, I would like to share some best practices as a venue that we are using. So, in alignment with the global trends in environment responsibility, SIDCO has adopted green building practices and sustainable operations. And SIDCO's initiative include energy efficient system, waste reduction programs, and the use of eco-friendly material to minimize environmental impact. So at the venue, we have established a solar power generation facility, which is now being expanded to the total of 1,300 kilowatts. And it will significantly reduce the carbon footprint. And we have also incorporated extensive glass structure to maximize natural daylight, significantly decreasing the need for artificial lighting. So if you go there in the morning, you will not feel that there is a light on, आपको लगेगा सब कुछ bright है. It is not LED, nothing. It's just the daylight. And the need of artificial lighting and it also lowers the overall electricity consumption. And we also practice rainwater harvesting, food waste management, and we also have a garbage treatment plant. And then we also process a substantial amount of waste annually, and we convert that waste into compost. So of course we are working with the local authorities, and like we cannot do everything alone, so there has to be a collaborative effort. So we get all the stakeholders together, and that is how we achieve this feat. And additionally, we maintain large number of trees on site, and we use recycled water to water the plants and the trees in the vicinity in the annual sequestration of carbon dioxide. So these are some efforts that SIDCO is doing in its own to make an impact on sustainability.
Thank you, Vibha. I think these are good initiatives, and from a venue perspective, the responsibility is, I think, gets highlighted even more.
Yeah.
Going to Ravina. Ravina, finally, I think this session has been enlightening with so many good perspectives from our esteemed distinguished speakers. I would like to quickly come to you for your closing remarks. What do you feel about the service providers fraternity working on this domain? Because Vibha and Satendra, they both come from organizers' perspective. Now, organizers are the ones who give you contracts, they give you terms and conditions. So, what do you want from the organizers and the venues to, kind of implement more sustainability into your practices? If you have any expectations from them from a service provider's perspective.
In the best of the practices, I think, or in the best of the world, I would say, if the organizer and the venue and the strand contractors work as a union, work as a united companies together, which can never happen. We all know that. Everybody has their own certain formulas of running their own businesses, their own profitabilities, and the own kind of a set mind, which is not going to happen. I have set example. One organizer has different set of rules when it comes to sustainability. Another organizer has a complete different set of rules, has no knowledge about sustainability at all. We have the same problem with the venues also. Though Dubai has absolutely phenomenal venues over here, still some venues allow you with everything. Some venues are getting stricter day by day. I would not say Trade Center is one of the best example, has initiated many things as a venue. But then again, it goes on the organizer. Am I right? A venue can provide you a set facilities of the waste management or the set rules or the set regulations. But if the organizer is allowing contractor to do anything in plastic or everything, and I can give you a list of things that they can do, then where are the rules and regulations? How much can a contractor like me or a company like me can do this initiative within inside my organization? I need to have a set rules from if all the organizers have the similar rules, all the venues have the similar facilities and the rules, then we have to follow it. Again, as a stand contractor, I might have a sustainability drive towards this ecosystem, but not every stand contractor would have it. We lose the clients. Client says, oh, why I come to you and why you say use only chipboard? Nobody else is telling me to use the chipboard. So what shall I do for the profitability of my company, which is the primary target that we have to face? Am I right? I have to lose the business because client is not agreeing on those kind of designs. Clients is not agreeing on the cost, no matter how much awareness. There is a difference year on year basis, but I think it is a hand-on-hand job of organizer, venue, and instant contractor. And it's not only UAE, not only India, I would say worldwide. There has to be some kind of a drive where we are following a set rules, which is exactly what Satyendra said. If we know the parameters of the 5 top parameters or the 3 top parameters or 6 or 7, whatever the number is, and if we can follow that across the worldwide in the exhibition industry, then I think, yes, we are driving towards the sustainability.
Absolutely. I think you ended up beautifully. I think finally I can have one last word from Satyendra because I think he is a part of sustainability committee in IIE as well. And as this forum, what I've learned is that we need to create some SOPs and some directions for all the stakeholders so that there's a uniform playing ground for everybody. So final closing remarks, Satyendra ji. I think our attendees must have gained some excellent insights today. I invite all our attendees to share their feedback, questions, and connect, messages in the chat section of this platform. And this initiative is to drive this kind of voice, this kind of awareness for all the stakeholders. Over to you, Satyendra ji.
Raghav, I would say the initiative has to be driven by passion, not compulsion. That's number one. And it has to be driven in the larger interest. Like, I definitely resonate with like what Ravina has shared. So that's the reason I had raised my hand in between. I completely understand. But Ravina, one thing is there, whatever initiatives you are doing, keep going. Like, don't kind of like, wait for the rules and regulations to be formed. We are setting an example, and I'm quite sure, not now, but tomorrow, all of us will give an example to that. So I think, as I said, okay, we can do like, mandate people, but that will not help. So I think it has to come from within, and you are doing the right thing to just keep doing that. So like, so that's another thing. And all of us needs to be involved and contribute with whatever we can. Even if we can, like, do 1% change, it matters. Because that today's 1% will get converted into 10% in next, say, 2 to 3 years, and it will keep growing. It has to be a step-by-step organized approach, and we need to balance between business operations and social responsibilities. Fine, everybody wants profitability, but at the end of the day, if you're not going to have a better future, what profitability is going to do? So we just need to balance it out, I think. So these are the parameters I would say if one's approaches or like one follow, I think we are done. And all of us, even if we, I would say, like do small things, these small things are going to become big. We should not all of a sudden start doing big things. I think that is not a workable option.
True.
Absolutely, and as Viva started off, if every organizer has this kind of statistics in their post-event analysis, I think that will pay a lot of attention and lot of education to all the stakeholders. So thank you, our esteemed speakers, for your valuable time today, and I hope that this initiative spreads more light on this important issue of sustainability. Thank you once again.